Handling disappointment or not getting what I want is a life skill that everyone needs. It seems to be a major problem in children. When things don't go their way, then they resort to fits of rage or arguing or badgering or whining and complaining. And every child must have a plan for dealing with disappointment. It's learned in the home. So let's talk about how we're going to help children develop what they need inside in order to deal with the limits that are placed on them. See, this is a big issue because children who don't have a plan for living within the limits find themselves going outside of the limits in order to find pleasure or identity. Just think about the young person who goes beyond the limits set by society or the school or the parents in order to find pleasure or in order to find their identity. It's a problem. Everyone must learn to live within limits, which means that we all live with a certain amount of disappointment in our lives. Children who don't get what they want often resort to all kinds of manipulative means or self-defeating behaviors in order to get what they want. So we need practice at this. One of the things that happens in family life that we do is we say no to children. We must have a plan for saying no to kids. Now, if you're always saying no, maybe you need to practice saying yes more often. But there's a movement in our society that says, let's not say no to children. Let's give them choices, or let's distract them. And all those that may be good some of the time. If that's all you're doing with children, then you're appealing to the selfishness inside of a child. I'll give you what you want if you do what I say, is what we end up communicating. And it just breeds more selfishness and entitlement in children. There must be a time in every child's life where they hear the word no, and they have to process that. What does that mean? How am I going to respond to that? When children learn contentment and gratefulness, those two very important qualities, then they're able to deal with some of the disappointment they experience in life. This is not an optional course. I mean, this is not an elective. This is one of those required courses, and every child must have a plan for dealing with disappointment in their lives. Otherwise, they become angry people. Because when things don't go their way, then they get upset and they react and all kinds of bad things happen. So I would suggest you have a meeting with your child and say, look, I know that sometimes when you don't get things the way you like, you get upset. And I want you to know I'm going to help you practice receiving a no answer. In fact, we're going to talk about this and some things that you can say. I would suggest you say to yourself, I'm disappointed, but I'll be okay, because that will help you to be able to process this better. And I'm just going to end up saying no to you more often now for a little bit so that you can go into the workshop of your heart and practice this. What we're teaching children is that this isn't optional. This is something they need to learn. And it's in the everyday work of parenting, when children are coming and asking for things, that we're contributing either to the problem or the solution. And what we're going to do is contribute to the solution by saying something like, okay, this is one of those times when your heart may really want something and the answer might be no. I want you to prepare yourself for a yes answer or a no answer before I answer your question of whether you can have this video or have this snack or whatever it might be. So what we're doing is we're teaching children to live within limits. Another way we do this is by helping children wait. Can I have a snack, Mom? And we normally would give them a snack because they're hungry. But if we're working on this, we might say, yes, we're going to have a snack in about 15 minutes. Come back and see me then. So now the child has to process this waiting, living within limits in order to move forward. The same with video time. Mom, can I have some more video time? You might just say, no, we've had enough video time, or we're not doing video time today if you want. But if you are going to say yes, you might say, okay, I'll let you have some video time, but we're going to do that in a little bit or something. So all of this is designed to teach children to live within limits. It reminds me of the passage in Philippians chapter 4:11, where Paul says, I'm not saying this because I am in need, for I've learned to be content whatever the circumstances. It's a learned process. Contentment is something we learn. Every person needs to learn it. Certainly every child needs to learn it. And the process starts now.